What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GoodeBaker podcast. My name is Nick Baker. Across from me, Shane Good.
Scoochie.
And we are here to talk to you about some video games. And of course, first things first, what have we been playing this week, man?
Alright. So, I know I said that I was done with it.
Oh, geez. Here we go.
But
every good story starts off like that, doesn't it?
It's true. It's true. Either that or like a twitch followed by like needle marks in your arm. That's beside the point. No, I know I said I was. So I've been playing League of Legends.
Oof.
I went back. I started playing a little bit of League of Legends, just ARAMs, a couple casuals, not playing competitive.
You sound like such an addict right now. It's like, no, just a little bit, man. It's nothing, man. Just weekends, you know? Yeah,
exactly.
Is it good?
Yeah, no, I enjoy it a lot more. The difference is I'm not really playing to win. I'm more just playing like to have fun with like the different characters and to kind of. I forget how much fun it is to like keep the sharpness, if you know what I mean. Like being able to hit skill shots consistently and being able to just like do small plays that like if you didn't play at least like a decent bit, you just wouldn't be able to pull off.
Right.
So like that part's fun. So I enjoy keeping that piece.
Right. Just kind of keeping the tool sharp.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in case your crew decides to come back on and dominate.
Well, I did. I played I played like 4 days of just ARAMs. Like I didn't really want to play it normal, and I played one normal, and it was like a slaughter. We won by like 16 minutes, and I was like 6-1. My mid laner, which I camped the entire game, was like fucking 10-0. Like we just absolutely destroyed them. So I still got it. Got it.
He's still there, ladies and gentlemen.
Still got
out there on that League of Legends field or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what have you been playing?
So I have been diving back into the division with the new expansion on the horizon, which we'll talk about later in topics. I've been getting back into that, grinding away, getting some better weapons. Didn't realize that there's like a huge echelon of different colored weapons above gold. So there's like red weapons and all these weapons that I had no idea that the end game even contained. So the last time I legitimately played was probably a month and a half or two after launch is when I kind of hit max and like got tired of the end game, and it kind of lapsed for me and other things came along, you know, podcast. So I jump back in, and honestly, it's really refreshing. The game is so tight, and the shooting is really fun. The gunplay is
the gunplay is so tight.
It's really a showcase of what a third-person shooter should be in, like, well, a third-person like cover-based shooter should be in the like modern looter shooter game.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, I'm super pumped for Manhattan again. I played the Division 1 to max level and enjoyed that. That's what got me into 2. So I'm going to have a lot of fond memories going back there. A lot of people that got to play at the event that they announced it at are showing off a bunch of footage, and man, it looks great.
Yeah.
The other thing I've been getting back into Apex with Season 4. I think I talked about it last week. That I was kind of dabbling, but I got my first win a few days ago, and then I got another win last night, and man, that game just is so, it's almost like a Dark Souls game that when you finally beat something in that game, you're just like, oh my god, it's such a sense of accomplishment that you get at the end of a round when you finally win.
See, I thought it was a Dark Souls kind of game because all you do is fucking slide around on the ground. Like Dark Souls roll around, Apex slide around. I thought it was a good joke.
No joke, though. The sliding in that game makes that game way more entertaining than like a Fortnite, or it's just like you can speed around that map. And guys are so fast when they come in on you. You know if a guy is good if he's like a mile out, and then you turn away, you turn back, and it's like a horror movie. He's right there. You're like, oh, fuck. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. Getting really back into it and finding out what guns they've kind of tweaked and nerfed. And the one gun that I've settled in on right now is the longbow that I never really used before, but they have recently added a sniper extended mag, which gives you I mean, there's I think I don't know if there's a gold one, but I've seen purple and blue, and gives you a bunch of extra slots for that. And the longbow is, in my opinion, one of the better snipers just because it's semi-automatic. And you can just, and it's slow firing. It's not like super duper quick like the scout, but the longbow is just so damn powerful. And if you get headshots, you're just taking shields off, and it's the way to go.
That's
at least for
dope.
me.
How's the just to ask? How's the shotgun game right now? Because I do love shotguns.
The double tap trigger makes the EVA 8 really, really competitive. I think in the shotgun game, the Peacekeeper is still really, really good. The pump action that they have. So it's really tight. Honestly, you can't go wrong with either one. Even the EVA 8 without the double tap is still a really good solid weapon early on. I personally would switch it out if I found a Peacekeeper, or it'd be tough to choose between the double tap and a Peacekeeper, honestly, because I've had a lot of success with the double tap EVA. But that's enough about Apex.
Yeah, what do we got? What do we got going on, man?
So it's kind of a big week, honestly. It's weird. It's that in between time where you kind of get some inklings of some future things, and also some kind of connecting fibers for a few games. But the big topics of the week, we'll round them off. Let's start with Ubisoft's new VR escape room idea. These reports come from all over the damn place.
Yeah.
So they're coming up with a VR escape room based on the Prince of Persia license called Daggers of Time. So there's not a ton of information out there, according to the article we looked at. It's not like a deluge of information, but cool idea, cool concept. Anyway, I love the Prince of Persia game. So what do you have you ever played the Prince of Persia game?
No, so I haven't played the Prince of Persia game, and then I've been to a couple escape rooms, and they're really fun. But usually you only go to an escape room kind of like once.
Right, and the escape room idea is to get you to come back for like the other things that they usually have, like 1 or 2, maybe 3 different event styles for an escape room. Like there'll be a Sherlock Holmes night, and then there'll be like I don't know, where do you even go, like a sci-fi night, or whatever. Maybe like an X-Files. That'd be kind of a cool escape room.
That would be a cool escape room.
The Prince of Persia VR escape room idea. I wonder if there must be other VR escape rooms. I just can't even think of any that I've heard of.
I don't know any that are super popular. There might be like a couple on Steam, and like that's the big thing is like for Steam there isn't a massive VR selection. There is a platform out there, I don't know the name of it, that has like only VR stuff. But I know that it also like a lot of the games are like $3. So like a game on Steam that has a ton of positive reviews for an escape room might have 10,000 reviews, but that game also probably only has like 10,000 or 20,000 playthroughs. Right. And it has to be priced right. And knowing Ubisoft, they're probably going to come in on like the higher budget end, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So I mean, it obviously, I think it's been kind of stigmatized that VR games are just essentially going to be cheaper than regular titles, especially because when VR games come out, they don't feel like a full experience most of the time, unless they're like a rare occasion like Resident Evil 7. Everybody loved the VR version of that. Yep. But when you say that, in the same breath, you have to say, well, you can play it completely out of VR, and some say it's even a better experience that way. Yeah. So I don't know. I think the name itself, Prince of Persia and Ubisoft, and now they're coming together. Well, I mean, Ubisoft has had the Prince of Persia license as far as I can remember anyway, but they're finally going to give an escape room VR game a name like Prince of Persia. Yeah. Which doesn't sound like a ton because we haven't seen like a Prince of Persia game really do well since, I don't know, I think there was a PS3 Prince of Persia game that was fondly looked after, but not really like a big seller. But you know, the Jake Gyllenhaal movie was something. Yeah. So maybe there's some pull there for the Prince of Persia name, and Daggers of Time is a dope name.
Daggers of Time is a really fucking cool name. I just hope that the game that they produce is cheap enough where people like it.
Right, and its quality and replay value is that of, I mean, maybe not quality-wise, but when I think of a VR, well, not even VR, but like an escape room style thing, I think that a model like a Mario Party idea could be really good, like where each portion of the escape room, like each part of it could be a different mini game or something like that, because they did say that it's going to be up to 4-player multiplayer. So that's another thing that's really interesting.
Yeah, that could be really interesting if if it's the same kind of escape room, but there's almost like kind of characters that you play, and like characters have like abilities, or specific characters can only do specific puzzles or something like that to kind of create some replayability. That could be, I mean, we could see something like that, but...
Before we even get any further on this topic, I think we need to talk about our serious lack of VR equipment.
Yeah, I know.
I've only played a handful of VR games myself on PSVR. I looked through an Oculus in Boston once, and I was really impressed with what they were able to do with, like, it was like a musical or something. You were sitting in the crowd, and people were around you and reacting to you.
Yep.
So that was kind of cool, but I don't know if VR, and I like I said, I don't really have a whole lot of experience with it. I don't know if VR is really there yet to like get you immersed enough to feel the tenseness of an escape room, I guess.
Yeah. It depends on what's chasing me in the escape room, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if they make it really, really visceral and action-packed, it could be really interesting. With a name like Prince of Persia, you think, like, well, this could be like an action movie escape room idea, where like the sand's crawling up the floor and you have to put these pieces in the right order, and it could be really cool. Yeah. But that's enough about that. True. Because this podcast is all about the shooty shoots and the gunny guns. Because we have literally like 4 stories here about gun games.
That's fair.
So let's get started. Rainbow Six is getting 2 new operators in its first expansion for year 5. The first of which is, her name is, like I said before, Iana or Lana. I haven't heard it pronounced yet. She's a Dutch operative that uses holographic projections that are controllable to survey and scout out enemy combatants in the zone that you play in. And the other one, who is a male operative, his name is Oryx, and he's pretty much a glorified Kool-Aid man, where he just smashes through walls, and that's what everybody's been calling him anyway. And from the gameplay footage that I saw, it's pretty true to form. He's the Kool-Aid man, and you can literally knock people out if you find him on the other side of a wall.
That's dope.
And I saw this one play, and this guy runs right through a wall, right into a guy, and the guy has little stars around his head, and he just pops him, wins the game, and it looks amazing. So these operatives, I feel like, are more along the lines of the like science fiction-y, supernatural-y type of idea that they were kind of reaching towards with like the zombie thing that they did a while back. Quarantine or something. So what do you think? So how much Rainbow Six do you play?
I've had Rainbow Six since they came out.
Well, that's good. It's a good start.
I played a lot at first, and then I realized that if I was going to continue to play this game, I would probably like throw my computer out the window, because of how toxic that community is.
Oof. Yeah.
It's probably one of the most toxic communities I've ever played with. Even more than League of Legends. Like, League of Legends is, like, pretty bad. Like,
right,
trust me, League of Legends is real bad.
I assume that the toxicity comes from, like, the high skill ceiling for that game. And every person that's on that high skill ceiling sees everybody else below that, and it's like, you guys are trash. Stop being on this game. Like, let me get these guys that are up here on my level.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do with matchmaking. I think matchmaking can make that problem go away really quickly. But anyway, keep
yeah, it definitely could to an extent. You do find a lot of people that will like smurf as well, but that's beside the point. I think the Kool-Aid man, I think that I now want to know what the comms are going to sound like in competitive play, because I don't know about you, but every time I break through a wall, all my teammates would be hearing is, "Oh yeah," just like that. Every time I break through a wall,
yeah,
like,
oh yeah, every time. Yeah,
I might just break through walls like back to back to back, just so I can continuously say it and annoy the shit out of people.
All the way through the building. Man, it'd be so great if you could just do that to all the walls on the lower level and just destroy the whole building that way. Man,
that would be
good old Battlefield days when you can just straight up destroy buildings.
Battlefield.
Loved it.
The other characters, Yana or Lana, whichever it ends up being.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Me either.
But either way, I think her abilities are pretty cool. It's interesting to me that they made two characters, one of which being super aggressive and one of which being super passive. They almost like counter each other. Like the gameplay of them.
Right. One's kind of reserved and the other is very forward.
Yeah.
I get that. And I think that's a really good idea for balancing like rollouts, especially if you have two characters come out at the same time. Have one be on one end and one be on the other. Definitely
pretty cool. I think it was a really good idea. I mean, obviously, the gunplay is just incredible in Rainbow Six Siege. It's just,
unlike Apex, whose new character is another assault player that just gets right up in your face, and it's like, we don't need any more of these.
Truth.
But Revenant admittedly looks pretty cool. But anyway, moving on. Rainbow Six, pretty awesome. But you know what else Ubisoft is doing that's pretty awesome? Is the Division 2's expansion is coming out on March 3rd, taking us back to Manhattan. This is what I was talking about before.
Yo.
If you didn't know, now you know.
Manhattan, dude.
Yeah, lower Manhattan this time.
I've been there once or twice.
I think it was like mid Manhattan that they were doing before with like Times Square and whatever.
That's cool.
In the Division 1, but now it's going to be lower Manhattan with like the docking district and stuff like that, I assume. And that's going to be really cool. I've seen some footage. Everything looks like Division 2 eyes, like really visually upgraded. The lighting is really nice like it is in the Division 2. The Snowdrop's really done a lot for them. Ever since they've really fine-tuned that engine, it's really kicking ass.
Yeah. I mean, the game's beautiful anyways, and the gunplay is always just so tight.
And, this is exactly what I was talking about, maybe not on the podcast, but just talking about it around when the Division 2 came out and everybody was like, oh, what are they going to do for DLC? This is exactly the type of thing that they should be doing for DLC is... I mean, it seemed like a no-brainer a year ago, but it must have taken them time to, remaster things, get assets squared away for the up-res and whatever, but don't quote me on any of that because I don't know how games are made at all. Whether or not it took them that long to figure it out or not, I just think that this had to have been the idea from the start. Like, get this map that was great, but admittedly had its flaws where everything was kind of samey. Like
it was kind of spaced out in weird ways.
You can sprinkle some nice end of generation spice now because everybody knows how the systems are fine tuned. And I mean, generally when you're making things for consoles, you have to take it pretty slow at first because nobody really knows what these machines are capable of until the end of the life cycle, and then all this great shit starts coming out, and then we're like, here, we're going to switch gears onto PS5 and Xbox, whatever.
Xbox, whatever.
It's really...
Yeah, it's pretty much.
But yeah, I'm super pumped for the New York expansion. And Warlords of New York is a dope name. Let's keep them coming. And
Warlords of New York.
Ubisoft knows how to name their games, for sure.
They do. It reminds me of that movie, the 5 Points in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Or is that what it is called?
No.
What is that called?
Gangs in New York. Right?
Gangs in New York. That's what it's called. It reminds me of that, which was a great movie, by the way.
Awesome movie. Really long, but
really
it was like worth it.
Fucking 3-hour movie.
Yeah, one of the best villains in a movie, I think.
I definitely, like... And games are really portray it very well. Yeah, the Butcher. Games also, like, they're very good at creating villains that you hate, but you love them. Like you love to hate them, and it's
that's another thing about this expansion is one of the agents from I believe it's the Division 2 is like a defective agent who is now starting to take over New York, and you have to go back and essentially stop his plans for that. So now you're going to be fighting actual Division agents.
Oh, that's cool.
As AI, but I mean, you can go into the dark zone and fuck around with that, but that's...
I mean, it kind of makes me wonder. We don't know much about it yet. I wonder if there'll be like a choose a side.
That'd be cool.
Like
be
where
really
it's you choose a side and then it actually leads into some PvP that has some meaning to story, if you know what I mean.
Right, and sort of like
zone capturing almost.
I think it was Destiny that did it. They had the Free Company or whatever, and some other monarchy or something like that. But they had like 3 sections that you could essentially swear to, and then all of the missions that you would do for that company would get you different armor, guns, upgrades.
It was like a reputation for one company.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to see if they could do something like that.
I would like that idea just of what it would bring, like you said, to the multiplayer. I think it would give another aspect and another reason to go into the dark zone if you're just out there to legitimately bullshit the other team, you know?
I mean, that does sound like fun, but it also kind of creates a new purpose to be in the dark zone, but also kind of like a team. Like a lot of solo players that go into the dark zone would now find themselves fighting with other people, possibly.
Right, and without even speaking, because you'd be able to see like a piece of gear or something above their head, an icon or something that indicates like, oh, this guy is on my side, and there's a good percentage chance that he might help me if I'm in a conflict.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool.
Gotta love that, man. Gotta love that. So Division 2's been talked to death. So now on to another shooty shoot.
Not Ubisoft though.
No, not.
You've been on Ubisoft for a while.
Yeah, we're breaking free Ubisoft for Activision, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So Call of Duty Modern Warfare is apparently getting a battle royale mode.
Okay.
According to IGN reports, parts of a new Call of Duty trailer show off what looks to be a plane dropping soldiers onto a much larger map that is surrounded with a green toxic-looking gas. So probably a battle royale mode.
Yeah, we'll be our action, perhaps.
Again, this is another decision that out of the gate just seems like a no-brainer because of the success of Blackout. You're like, why wasn't... generally these things, I guess, take a lot of time to like pencil in and figure out, but why wasn't this a part of like close to launch, you know?
I mean, I would probably say for 2 reasons. So like probably one would be when you launch a game with a ton of different things, you do run the risk of like one mode just never being played.
Right.
But
the Battlefield
also,
syndrome.
Yeah, but like replayability as well is like people will come back for that. Versus, the people that left will come back to play it because it's something different. Like they like the game, but they just kind of got bored. I could see them saying like those are the 2 things, but like logistically, I mean, there's probably a lot to server because you're hosting thousands of people with games that are taking up 10 times what the normal server capacity of your normal matches would take. But their competitive scene was so focused around that 2v2, 1v1 scene, and people were so into it that they probably had this ready to be rolled out and they just waited on it.
Another thing that did announce with this that was a little less exciting for me because I wasn't like a super duper big Modern Warfare fan, but a lot of fans were really excited for them bringing back Rust.
Yeah, I don't play Call of Duty anymore, but when I did play Call of Duty, it was usually Rust with a riot shield with a 3-burst 9mm pistol and my friends throwing their controllers.
Yeah. Gotta love it, man, and it brings back those old Call of Duty memories every time you talk about like old school maps like that. There was like an airfield one that I used to love in Call of Duty 3.
I thought that was just called Airfield.
Yeah, it might have been just called Airfield, but
fantastic.
Yeah, so I think the reason that they didn't bring it out at launch is simple, just because they want to extend the life of Modern Warfare, and usually you don't have to worry about that with a Call of Duty because the multiplayer usually carries that into at least the next Call of Duty, but I guess they're pretty worried about all the other shooter competition that they have, which
it's a lot right now.
is vast, yeah. So also another thing could have been that they wanted to maybe extend the life of Blackout too, because Blackout was already so popular, had such an install base, and people were still enjoying it. I wonder how this new mode will affect that. I wonder if Blackout will either shut down or some server space will be swapped over, or...
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's interesting thing to roll around the old noggin while we get on to Pokemon Home, our final topic of the show, and probably the least exciting, but...
It depends on if you're Paul or not.
Right. If you're Paul, the regional Pokemon expert, then you're really excited about this, and you've already downloaded every app possible for this.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So Pokemon Home, if you don't know, is the online Pokemon storage system that Game Freak and Nintendo have developed together to allow you to store your Pokemon and trade them between not only your Switch Pokemon game, but your 3DS Pokemon games, and eventually, I believe, your Pokemon Go account. You can then trade Pokemon from there. There's a few features that allow you to trade those Pokemon into the world now, but now it would be easier to get those Pokemon from Pokemon Go to, say, like a Pokemon Ruby or Sapphire remake on the 3DS.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool, and the subscription is not bad. I think I think you get a slot of just one box of Pokemon, which is 30 Pokemon for free.
That's
if
pretty
you
cool.
sign up, and you can get a bunch more for $2.99 a month, $4.99 for 3 months, and $15.99 for a whole year of Pokemon Home.
I think Paul probably has at least 20 years right now.
Yeah, he's definitely signed up for a lifetime subscription of Pokemon Home. But the cool thing that I thought is that they included an Android and iOS app so that you can control that from your phone as well. And if you, say, want to trade a Pokemon but you don't have your Switch with you, you can just pull out your phone, do it like that. And it also brings back the global trading system that they had in one of the older Pokemon games.
I thought it was like X or Y.
I think it was like X or Y, and I think Sun and Moon had it, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
Which allows you to either random trade or you can trade with anybody across the globe.
That was so much fun.
Yeah. And so, in that sense, it's pretty cool. And, if I ever dive back into Pokemon, I think it's something that I might look into just to fill out the old Pokedex, because apparently that's a thing that Paul really wants me to do.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony was doing it too, so.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's everything we got for you this week. Remember to like, subscribe, comment if you care to correct us on any of the things we got wrong, and...
everything.
Yeah, I mean,
everything.
There's got to be something here. And, man, if you made it all this way, we love you. We appreciate you. Keep supporting, and we'll keep putting out this subpar content. And
seems legit.
We'll keep talking about video games, and eventually we'll be talking with you guys about some video games. So
it's true.
Stay tuned. But until next time.
Peace.